Hello heroes, Joe Smith here. Just seen a news clip from the other day. Crazy Eyes, you know who Joe Smith's talking about. Crazy Eyes, they're the bartender in New York. She's got a plan to reduce crime and reduce violent crime, which in many places, including New York City, where Crazy Eyes is at, is up like 3 times this year. Some places 500%. That's 5 times as much. She says fewer people or people will stop committing crimes if we stop building prisons. That's right. That genius bartender, Crazy Eyes, said the only reason why people are out committing crimes, carjacking and shooting people, is because they don't want to see all these empty prisons. And they want to be the first ones to live in that brand new prison. They can't stand to see an empty brand new prison, so they go out and shoot at some cops, carjack someone and kill them, just so they could be the first to move in that shiny new, brand new prison. But if we stop building prisons, and people won't want to live in them anymore, because they'll get tired of the old prisons, the old rusty gray bar hotels. They're just building too nice of prisons. Everyone wants to move into the nice new prison, so they go out and commit crime just to get arrested, so they can move into that brand new prison. She went on to say, or else get them jobs. Oh, great, because 2/3 of the country is ending their pandemic unemployment insurance early because they have so many open jobs. Some cities, like around here, have more jobs than people. So where's all these people that need to get jobs? We can take 15,000 of them here in Joe Smith City. In fact, Joe Smith could use a few dozen. Joe Smith's buddy just hired a guy overseas to be a hiring manager today. $250,000 a year, because he can't find people in America to pay to sit home and lay in bed and post ads on Facebook on their cell phone. Because I guess they're too busy out committing crime, so they can be the first to move into that shiny new prison that companies keep building. He's got 30,000 job openings nationwide that he created. Created during the recession of 2012-2013. Hasn't been able to fill a single goddamn one. Can't even find people to advertise them. $50,000 starting, guaranteed minimum. Some positions up to $1 million a year. He's posting ads for hiring managers and recruiters and office staff on Craigslist right now in all the foreign countries of the world. Try and fill a hiring manager and recruiter positions to advertise all these new jobs he created. Since Americans are too busy out carjacking and shooting places up, just so they could be the first to move in that shiny brand new prison. Or at least that's how Crazy Eyes makes it sound. So they need to build more hospitals. So people can pay even higher, more healthcare costs. Well, instead of locking carjackers and murderers up and rapists, they don't need to be in prison, they need to be in a hospital. Here's an idea. Here's an idea how you stop violent crime or lower crime. If you're convicted of shoplifting or stealing or robbery or burglary, instead of 3 hots and a cot and cable TV and whatever other benefits these shiny new prisons have, how about you do what some places do, or foreign countries or villages do? Not for sure if it's still getting done, but used to get done back in the day. Get caught stealing, robbery, burglary, get convicted of it, cut off your hand. Caught and convicted a second time, cut off your other hand. They didn't have very many second offenders, and the number of third offenders was almost non-existent. Get caught and tried and convicted of rape, well, cut off something else other than a hand. Very few second offenses. Murderers? Well, just go back to the old days. Hang a rope from a tree across the street from the courthouse. So many will probably say that it's like real barbaric, and yeah, it probably is. It's probably a lot more barbaric or whatever than what we should have to turn to, but then again, maybe just the thought of it happening, people think twice before doing the stuff. But nowadays, courts or prosecutors or police are telling people, well, as long as you steal less than $1,000 or less than $5,000 when you steal from a store, rob a store, or whatever, we won't even bother arresting you. Or it'll just be like a fine. And you can go steal some more stuff to pawn to pay that fine. Or we'll introduce you to a bunch of other criminals for a couple nights and give you some free dinners. Play a little catch and release or something. Maybe the country would only need half the police. If there was ropes hanging from trees across the street from the courthouses. And on the judge's bench was a butcher knife. I don't know, just some random crazy thoughts or that. What needs to be done, heroes? It's definitely not fewer police and less prisons. Because apparently the punishment nowadays for stuff is just way too lenient. Yeah, some people can, after some time in prison, kind of change their ways. They find Jesus, they get educated, they start reading some books, get some counseling. 10, 20 years later, when they're 40 instead of 20, they're finally growing up and ready to be a productive member of society. But we can't just keep locking up 10% of the country for 10 or 20 years to wait for them to grow the F up. $100 ago, you consider growing up at 12. Back in the 90s, you're pretty much considered grown up almost at like 14. Back in Iowa, there on the farms, farm kids driving tractors at 12, 13, 14 years old. 14 at the time, guessing it still is. Get a learner's permit, drive car as long as you had your parents or guardian or legal adult with a license with you. Nowadays, like half the people apply with Joe Smith that are in their mid-20s don't even have a driver's license yet. Or lost it. Crazy Eyes wants to, and the other demon rats wants to lower the voting age. I think we need to raise it to like 30. People ain't even growing up enough to drive and feed themselves or anything yet at 18. Why you want to lower it? They're saying these 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds that murdered people should be tried as children, not as adults. Well, voting is an adult activity, not a children activity. Voting is for grown-ups. So if you want the voting age to be 16, well, try it as an adult at 16 then. Want the voting age to be 14? Well, you try as an adult at 14 then. So how many people was shot and killed between St. Louis, Chicago, Washington D.C., Baltimore, New York City this past weekend? 300 people shot, two dozen killed, something like that. Seems like it's like that every weekend. A lot of them just little kids. Every time Joe Smith gets on YouTube, another news story about some little kid got shot while sitting in a car, shot while playing in his house, or shot by his stray bullet playing in the front yard. See a news story today where forget if little girl, little boy, something like that. I think it's a little girl was saying that she's afraid to go outside and play. A black little girl saying she's afraid to go outside and play. Not because of all those racist, MAGA hat, white supremacists, Trump supporting police officers out there hunting LeBron James. She says she's afraid to go outside and play because of teenagers and grown-ups of her own race. Because she's worried that her black life won't matter to them. What should the prison sentence be, or the crime sentence be, for robbing little kids of their childhood and making them live in fear every day of getting shot or hit by a stray bullet? People are probably going to start moving to China to get away from all the violent crime and get away from the socialism. China's probably safer than America now. It's getting to the point where China's probably almost more capitalistic than America is too. And of course, Democrats, all they talk about, more taxes, more taxes. Oh, we won't raise taxes on the poor. We'll just raise taxes on the stuff that they buy. So those taxes will get included into the price, and then the stores and businesses that sell those products will actually collect the tax revenue and then pay it to the IRS for the poor people. You know, it's been a few years since Joe Smith had a history class in school, but didn't people once upon a time risk their lives sailing an ocean to move to America, to settle and start a new country, to get away from being overly taxed? By a government that had too many laws and regulations and taxes. In fact, didn't those people get into a war with that country they fled from? Didn't they like dump some tea into the Boston Harbor to protest the excessive taxing and taxes? Maybe that's just figment of my imagination. Maybe it's just a dream I had some night. Oh, here comes the bunny. Hi, bunny. Hi, bunny. We're chasing a little squirrel or something, or chipmunk. Yeah, I think it's chipmunk over by the truck, but Joe Smith likes animals. Oh, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Just some random bullshit, thoughts, whatever, rants. Hope everyone has a good night. Joe Smith signing out.